Hello, hello, hello. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Traders Arena, our Sunday weekly crypto review show. I suppose we're at episode 49, I think. Yeah, it looks like we're streaming away on YouTube, so hopefully the sound quality is okay and all that stuff. If not, please let me know in the chat. Hey, everyone that's in there. Uh, well, yeah, we're at episode 49 here, into the last month of the year. Geez, I suppose we only have a couple more weeks here left of the year. So damn, time is flying. And of course, we've been calling it like an accumulation year all year, and I think it's fair to say that some people accumulated crypto, and now we're in kind of the second run up of the year. There was a little bit of a alt season earlier in the year, and now we're in the middle of another. I think I like calling it a mini alt season in a way because I don't know if the real bull market's ripping yet. I'm not so sure that's the case, but without a doubt, there's altcoins. Many altcoins are taking off, and of course, Bitcoin's just been grinding its way higher. And I don't know. We basically have I think I suppose the narrative everybody's waiting for is just the silly BlackRock ETF. I think that's supposed to be a announcement in January about that, right? So I guess you could maybe look at that as a potential like sell the news type of event. I think everybody's kind of thinking that. So I don't know what's going to really happen at the end of the day, but thought we'd see some sort of pullback into the end of the year, and it's getting closer and closer to that. So I don't know. We'll see if that actually can come in, or if we have to wait until January and get some sort of ETFs news to sort of drive price down a little bit. I think Bitcoin's asking for at least some sort of pullback at some point, and I think this week it's starting to show the. Maybe I'll just pull up my Bitcoin chart here anyway. I think we're starting to see maybe the very beginnings of a little bit of weakening in this like straight up move. It doesn't really show up on the weekly chart here, but on the daily you can see that. So probably look at that here in a minute, but just pointing out the weekly chart here. Of course, we're just in this straight up move, and 61.8 fib and 48,000 isn't too far away. So there's really no reason why we couldn't hit that. I mean, of course, if you hang out with our community, you probably see that 61.8 is often a trade location for lots of different setups, actually. But even just, for Paul specifically, just going and hitting that level, pretty common to watch him do that. And so it's, point being is if we do run up into that level, it's not too far from here, and probably see some sort of rejection there. It might not be the top, but probably see a reaction there nonetheless. Pretty big level. Kind of talked about last week how this high here is like such a key level in my opinion. It was sort of the last fake out that really sort of solidified the upcoming bear market that we had to go through after that. Was after this like W came in and sucked everybody in, all the hopium people that really want to see Bitcoin go back up top there. And so now that level's just sitting there asking to be hit. So I don't know. It seems likely that it can be tagged here still, but the daily chart's starting to show a little bit of weakness, I think. Just finishing with the weekly analysis here. I mean, you can see RSI is blasted way into overbought here now. So not quite as high as it was like back in, the last cycle highs. Well, that's not even really the cycle highs, but the last RSI high in you can see how far into overbought we got. And now this thing's pointing straight up. So not really like a sell signal, just an overbought condition that could hang around for a while. And then more importantly, I'd say is look at OBV still just now in a big old wide W. So there's no real breakdown on the weekly chart, but just to point out the daily, there is like the sort of like I said, the beginnings of a breakdown. I mean, location wise, like I said, like 61.8 is just right up here, and we're kind of above the pump chaser zone now. So it's like price could go either way very easily, I think. I don't think you can call it top here per se, but there are like signs of a potential sort of top. And if anything, maybe we've carved out a little range up here that has to sort of resolve itself here. And it kind of looks like I heard Paul call it a diamond earlier. There's a little bit of a, I don't know, sort of just kind of like consolidation range here at the, after this big rip that could potentially become an M, or it could just keep ripping higher and get up into that 48 level. I think it's dangerous to try to call that per se. Like if, especially zoomed out here, like a daily chart, I think it's too early to call a top here. But to be fair, kind of seeing the, RSI is now in this massive potential divergence. There was lots of M's coming in RSI here, and then now most recently there's a little M that has confirmed, and we're in a bigger potential bearish divergence. And then OBV's got like a potential M, but not broken yet. So it's like, that's why I said sort of like only the very beginnings of weakness, because the indicators aren't fully broken yet here. Well, at least OBV's not, which OBV's sort of my more. I'm kind of waiting patiently for like an M and OBV, but RSI is a little bit broken. But if you zoom in on the price action a little bit, I think it's a pretty good example of what often happens. You know, they ran, price ran up and stalled out and pulled back and formed a range here, and then you can see how they just tagged 88.6 this week and backed off of the 88.6 fib level of that range. So that's kind of like sort of a warning shot of weakness, I say. Of course, like if you're like a trader that's zoomed in and trading swing or 4-hour or lower 1-hour charts, and maybe even day trading, then I could definitely see shorting up against the highs here. So when price came up into 88.6, I'm sure a lot of traders were going in and taking their shot. But that's a little different than calling like tops here. That's just kind of shorting the top of this little range on lower time frames. Totally could see that. But as an investor, I think you're kind of in the middle of the road here. Like price could go either way. There's a lot of open air below, and I think support's way down here at like 38,500. So could price just rip down there and fill all this open kind of volume gap that's in here and come back and test the highs here? This kind of reminds me of the S&P 500 actually from last year, when they broke out of this like consolidation range and then came down and checked it and bounced off that level. Like I could show you that. Now that I think about it, just kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Probably shows up more, zoomed out a little bit because it's a little bit more. But see how like it's kind of like the same. They like, put in this consolidation zone here, broke it out hard with nice little W's and stuff. And then when they came back against it, that was support. And you can see the bounce. And by the way, making new highs now in the SPY and on the NASDAQ actually. So stock market's getting a little frothy here too, kind of trying to break out of the range. But my point is this consolidation zone right here reminds me kind of Bitcoin right now. So like, going back to the weekly, it's a little, I'm sorry, I was looking at the daily. It's a little bit more zoomed in, I should say, but you can kind of see the same idea. It's like we had this consolidation area that turned into W's and broke out really swiftly and just straight up from there. Not that much work to do to come back and check those levels at like 38,000. So it could easily happen, or we could shoot up to 61.8 first. I think it's just way hard to call it right here. So I'll leave it with that with Bitcoin. It's just sort of maybe showing a little teeny bit of weakness, but we're still in a really strong uptrend. See people chatting away in the chat. I got a couple requests I'm sure we can get to today. Hey everyone, and I think probably Miku's in there. I think we got some doubles to report off of our Road to Financial Freedom plan, which is sort of the point of this show, right? Where every week we talk about our Road to Financial Freedom altcoin plan, which is essentially just a simple plan we've created to sort of kind of demonstrate to the general YouTube public how you could take advantage of the altcoin cycle in like a weekly chart kind of zoomed out thing using pretty simple tools. And my co-host Paul here, which I might as well say hey to. I didn't introduce him earlier, but you with us, Mr. Paul?
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah, so
just looking at the charts.
Our fearless leader Paul goes through those coins every week during the show. We look at 5 normally, and I suppose we had talked about maybe moving back to 10, depending on how it. Of course, right now, is there really that much that's buyable? It's sort of hard to be a buyer of altcoins right now. Hopefully, you're already long on some level, and if you're not long, you're gonna have to just be a little more patient and wait for this pullback like that I was just talking about. Like, can Bitcoin rip down to the support here and give altcoins a chance to come back for a second breath, maybe pull back into like market structure bottoms and stuff. So we're kind of waiting on that. If before any real buying starts, I haven't bought anything. I did. That's not totally true. I did buy a couple things this week, but in general, it's kind of like there's not a lot of fills coming in at the moment. I did buy this FIS and this other MBX, MDX or something. I can't remember. Maybe we can, if we have time, I'll get to those later, or I'll definitely talk about that on Tuesday. I do another show that kind of gets into crypto as well, sort of names that we don't necessarily cover today. And so anyway, what was my point? Oh yeah, so we'll be, every week we talk about our weekly crypto review plan, the road to financial freedom. And that's Paul will get into that here in a minute. And I think we have some doubles to report off that. We were doing some selling this last week or so as cryptos run up. We have our plans basically saying every time we can double our position and take half of that. Can we sell half on a double and pull our original capital back out, and then keep the rest for the future bull market that we're anticipating at some point? Hopefully, with a little luck, would be next year, heading around the Bitcoin halving, and after, maybe it takes another year. I don't know. But the point is, hopefully, we'll have like a bag of free coins that we have no risk in at that point, as we've already taken our original capital back out, and we'll just ride that shit into the glory days, glory land, or whatever. I don't know, Lambo land, whatever happens. But right now, there's not a lot to be. Unfortunately, you can't really chase these markets. So if a market's already ran up quite a bit, it's probably pretty dangerous here, especially with. Like I said, you can't really call it top here on Bitcoin, but hopefully you could at least see that it's in a dangerous area to be thinking about like loading up. So anything can happen here. It could go either way this next few weeks. And then of course running into that ETF event, if price is still just wildly bullish, just right up into that event, it does lean towards sort of some sort of sell-off, like sell the news type thing. But it's enough Bitcoin. I'll just mention Ethereum, I noticed, hit 31.8. So the same kind of thing, like it's a little not as far along as in the range as Bitcoin. Bitcoin already almost up to 61.8. But Ethereum is just starting the whole sort of Collins dump chaser zone kind of zone here. Like we ran up into $2,400, which isn't a huge surprise. Just big round number right at 38.2, and kind of saw a rejection. This is exactly what happened with Bitcoin, right? We ran up into 38.2 and got promptly rejected, but then over time it still built higher and took off again. But that initial reaction is like so common. Same with 61.8. If Bitcoin runs up into 61.8, you probably see something similar to that too. So of course that becomes trade location for lower time frame trading. If you're looking to short Ethereum on the lower time frames, it would have been worth just at least noting that that's a key level to run up into on the zoom, like on a higher time frame. So never underestimate these fib levels. They always seem to, there's always some kind of an impact. Not always, I should say, but there's oftentimes some sort of reaction at these big levels, especially like, we're talking about the cycle levels here, 38.2 of the whole entire range off last cycle highs. That's a pretty important level. You can see how essentially the M too, this is a big M that came in Ethereum, back then. And you can see how 38.2 just not shockingly ended up being this key sort of M breakdown level, 2,400. So it's not a huge surprise that as we at least run up into there, we're going to have some sort of traffic. RSI is kind of in bearish divergence and OBV is pointing up. So just like Bitcoin, it's not broken yet, but it just ran up into a key level. And actually, you could say that about crypto in general too. Like total market cap ran up into the 38.2s and kind of completed this ABCD. So I don't know what dominance is doing. I haven't looked at it, but it's in the dump chaser zone essentially. So the only point to all this is an area where you could start thinking about a pullback for sure. To be fair, we've been kind of waiting for it as Bitcoin was playing around in the 38.2. And so be careful chasing altcoins into this kind of price action. I'd say, is it really worth going and buying something that might be 50% up off the lows or more, quite a bit more in many cases? And then I guess the next statement would be like, well, if there's anything that hasn't taken off yet, are you willing to step in on it? And I'm still just sticking with, if I can find like weekly W's to buy, then I'm still just going to keep on keeping on and buying them if I can. And if the market rolls over, I'm kind of hoping that those weekly W's hold. But if they get taken out, then I'll just prepare for the next bottom and just make sure that I'm not you know, spending all my dry powder, so to speak, and just being conscious of the fact that like any weekly W's that are currently in right now that maybe didn't take off, like the ones that the ones that are lagging at the moment, they might get knocked back down below their W levels pretty easily if things roll over. But I'm still willing to take my shot. I think like one example of that would be something like I suppose that one I bought, just one that I did buy was David's name. This FIS, and I'll just finish my talk before Paul jumps on with the this is with the shitcoin that we can talk about. That's not going to probably show up in our plan for this week, as we kind of stick to the bigger market cap coins, top 100 or so coins for this show today. But like something like this, much smaller, but really the only point I'm trying to make is, I mean, bare minimum, hopefully you can see this W that came in and below 78.6, and actually right at 78.6 is the breakout level, which is super common. I talk about that, I feel like, every week, and why I like to try to be averaged in around 78.6 of these ranges, because oftentimes that W just ends up coming in right there, which it did in this case. But the only point I was trying to make is if Bitcoin dumps back down into that like 30 was it 35, I guess, wherever that support level is I was just talking about, if Bitcoin rolls over into that, does this W fail, and maybe there has to be a W down the road somewhere in here? It's very likely, but still, there's, in my opinion, it's still worth taking a shot here if you can get if you're willing to not go all in here. If you're willing to just take a reasonable bet with the assumption that if price, if we, you're not going to, what am I trying to say? You're not going to kill yourself when price rolls over to new lows. You're preparing for that to happen, because it very well could happen. But in my case, I'm still willing to buy this W. That's the only point I'm trying to make. I don't know if I arrived at that as well as I wanted. I'm still willing to buy something like this that hasn't ripped yet, even though a lot of the market has. And I'm just going to see how it goes. And if I have to average down a bit later, I'm going to make sure I can do that. So hopefully that makes sense. At the end of the day, it just comes down to, are you willing to pull the trigger? Like, do you believe that if the market rolls over here, like say the market did roll over kind of brutal, and keep in mind, like, crypto at any moment could just, I mean, if you've been around in past cycles, you'd have to know that, like, in a situation now where there's things that are up quite a bit, like, I mean, I could even just pick like something like Sia coin here. This is pretty common for altcoins right now, right? Just full on rip mode. I mean, at any point, can this thing, I don't know, in the next couple months, just be back down in reload zones, like, and take a 30% plus haircut out of nowhere? It can easily happen. So just keep that in mind. And so with that said, it's like, are you the type of person that would think that if that happens, that crypto's dead? Or are you the type of person that thinks if that happens, that I'm getting a buy opportunity of a lifetime? And I can't tell you which person to be. I fall into the camp of pullbacks or buying opportunities going forward all the way into the bull market at this point. I think this is a good example of the accumulation year that we were talking about all year. You can kind of see how this was that first quarter run up, and then came back down into reload zones and put a stronger base in, and now we're ripping again. And it's only time will tell if we're going to get another buy opportunity. But if we do, then it's definitely an opportunity, in my opinion, not a new bear market. So hopefully that makes sense. And I think that's about it, all I have to say here for the most part. Unfortunately, I mean, there's not a lot of like, I mean, we're not in a buy window at the moment, really. If you're lucky enough to find something like that FIS, which I think is a very reasonable shot to take, that might actually still give you more fills here in the next couple of weeks against that W, like something like that, if you can find it, great. But in general, it's like the market's not really looking like that. In fact, a lot of stuff's looking kind of maybe not as big as Sia coin. This thing is really ripped, but many things are up off the lows. Many doubles have been had, and now we just got to kind of wait for our next chance to buy again. So that makes the conversation a little bit slower. Like, we got some requests to look at today, and I'm sure a lot of them are going to be like, I see Oh yeah, so Mika's saying doubles this week were near OP theta. Yeah, there's more in our lounge actually from that plan. And then I mean I can't remember where I left off from the last time I reported doubles on Tuesday, but I certainly had a few this week. Like things like FXS and High and Vara. This Vara, well, Siacoin, but I guess Siacoin double might have been 2 weeks ago. So anyway, hopefully, if you were watching the show all year, hopefully you banged out at least a couple doubles from some of the names we've talked about. And if you're just joining us now as a new person, then like I said, this shows the whole point of it is working this altcoin investment plan. So we'll be patient and we'll keep doing this every Sunday and going through the coins. And as they come back down into buy levels, we'll just have our bids working on the stuff that Paul will get into here in a minute. And of course, every Sunday we just do the same thing. We take 5 coins from the list and just take a look at them, see if we have to change our bids or work our sell orders or report any sells, report any fills, and then all that stuff gets compiled in our spreadsheet for this plan, which is also available on Discord. So if you want to see that, you can just join our Discord from cryptotradersarena.com is the easiest way to find that. Like I got the website pulled up here. You can just join Discord through there, and then in that server, there's a channel dedicated to this plan, and you can also see this show here, which shows up on our website for every Sunday. And so, yeah, if you want to see the actual spreadsheet and the plan and stuff, that's all there. And you can even copy that spreadsheet and use it, delete all the information if you want, and just use it as your own investment spreadsheet. It does a really good job of tracking, like updating the price data for pretty much every coin that you're going to be interested in. And it's got really nice statistics. And you can see that here in a minute when Paul starts going through what we're doing with that plan today. So I think that's probably a good time for you to jump on, Paul, and get into those coins, and then that'll leave us enough time to take a look at these requests that are in the chat right now. So I don't know if you're ready, sir.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, change the screen to my side. And we can start as usual.
Yeah, so you're ready to go. We're looking at the spreadsheet.
Well, we have the same plan. I'll repeat that every live stream. So the same plan, simple and clear and easy to execute. We are in the first phase of the plan, buying and selling half on a double kind of idea. Yeah, so short levels, selling only one and keep the free coins. And until after the halving, I guess we'll stay in this kind of environment. I know everyone is bullish and really bullish, or they are starting to get too bullish. But let's follow the plan until we'll see that we'll not get fills anymore. Let's keep, reloading. We got some fills. Let's put some bids down below. So this is the plan. This is the spreadsheet. You can make a copy if you want. You can modify it. You can even go against Bitcoin if you want to use this against Bitcoin, or even a dollar cost averaging plan. So it's a complete spreadsheet made by Miku and his man. Let's think about higher time frame. I don't know if someone from our community didn't hear about this plan, and I still get some question where I could find this one, what I should do. Well, I posted for free. Kevin and I are working Sunday by Sunday. Miku put a lot of work to do this spreadsheet. More than that, I don't know if someone can do for a member. It's totally up to you if you want to follow this one or not. But let's go back on our list. And I guess we left at T-Fuel and we'll start with BAL. No? But I don't know. I think I should take a look at the fields we have first. So Miku said theta. Well, you can see on this one. We bought first 0.5 and we have just hit the sell half on a double. I'm keep repeating every time. Put your short in the market. Put your limit orders in the market. You can see touched your level. If you had the order, okay. If you didn't, you should wait. Maybe it will go up or maybe you'll go back down and you miss the free coins. You'll have to wait until the market will go back at this level. So I'll repeat again. Be damn sure that you'll have your orders in the market. So we have theta, we have OP, I guess. Let's see where that one is. Same kind of thinking. We had two levels. One, we got a fill. We had another one lower, but you can see we got a really nice pump. We have our fill, and now we can think about reloading. We'll have to wait to see where this one will finish pushing up, and then we can draw our long reload zone. We can draw our reload zone even now. Okay, and I'll prefer 78.6 to 88.6. So you can see all the way down here. Maybe I'm a cheap ass, maybe I'm not, I don't know. So when the market will come back here in this area, I'll try to buy again. For the moment, I don't think is anything we can do. We have some trades on lower time frames on premium part. So if this one will push higher, you can see, well, we can, if we'll test the highs at least here, then we can think long reload zone will be exactly at the breakout here in this area. But let's not assume anything. Let's wait and see what will happen. So nice shot on this one. Near, I guess, is the another one. Let's see what we have near. Well, yeah. Same scenario. You can see we bought here. Market goes below our level. Didn't put a weekly W, but says, okay, I want to go higher. We hit our level, and now we should wait. We have a level 1 limit order below, and now we should do the same thing like we did on OP. Same idea. Let's wait and see where this one will stop going up. For the moment, I don't see weakness. We have a lot of liquidity here, and if we look left, you can see liquidity here and higher. So let's wait and see where this one will stop. That will give us the long reload zone where we should think about reloading. And we had another one, actually, Algo. Well, I remember exactly I said to buy Algo at 10 cents. And you get the idea why. If you put the indicators, you'll see why I said that. And I didn't do an average on this one. Why I didn't do an average? Because I wanted to have free coin, to have a free capital. I bought first time here, and then the second 0.5 was here. So with the plan, respecting the plan, I'm not allowed to buy anymore. So to be in the position where I could buy, I should wait for a short. So I didn't do an average of both of them and put a short higher. I let separately. So this one had the short level at 20 cents, just hit that level, and now we can buy another 0.5 in the long reload zone when the market will come back down. That's my thinking on Algo. So we had some shots this week. If the market will push higher, we'll get even more than that. Probably, if Bitcoin will stay above 44, altcoins could move a lot higher. But let's take it step by step. Now we should wait for the pump to stop, and then we can reload. And that's the first part of our plan, to sell half on a double and reload, sell half on a double and reload, until the market will be too bullish for us to be able to do that. That will give us, hopefully will give us a lot of free coins. Okay, now let's start with the plan and let's see where we said BAL. Let's see here. 1 second, please. Well, on this one, we bought $3.60, kind of idea. Why? You can see this was the all-time low. Market goes below. This kind of a W, well, I don't like it. for a weekly W, it's ugly. But at the same time, seeing the market so bullish, will not be a surprise to see the market at $7 and hit our short level. We have a W, ugly, but it's there. And you can see the OBV has a W, the RSI has multiple Ws. We had bullish divergence here on RSI on weekly time frame. So yeah, could push higher, could give us some free coins. Nothing to do at this point in time. Just like I said earlier, check if you have this order in the market. It's that simple. Nothing to do. After that, we can reassess. Looks okay-ish from my point of view. What I want to see a bottom or a range here between this level, 3.5, and I don't know, $8, $9, $10 here. $8 kind of idea. I want a range in this area. Let's hope that we'll get that. That will give us multiple opportunities to buy and reload, buy, sell, and reload, buy, sell, and reload. The longer the channel, the better for us. Well, let's take a look at the next one. Well, next one is comp. Let's see where comp is here. And on comp, we had sell half on a double a long time ago. We updated the chart already in a live stream, and then we said we want to buy at 78.6. You can see here the reload order at $37. I don't know if we got the reload. I don't know if I posted this update before or after. I think after that. That's why we don't have an update now. I think we posted this level after we hit this level. Now, I don't think it's a good idea to do anything. Let's just wait for this level or even lower. We have some free coins. Yeah, I could see a trade here. Actually, on daily time frame, on premium part, VIP, we have a trade. And we are long and strong kind of thinking. Let's see if I could find that chart. Second comp. Well, yeah, we have it here. Well, you can see on daily chart, we are long with a trade. That's a different kind of idea. Yeah? I'm hoping for a nice bounce. But for this plan, nothing we can do. Let's just wait and see what will happen. Now, let's take a look at the next one. And that's Raven coin, I guess, if I remember correctly. Well, it's trying to form a bottom, at least. That's a good thing. You can see the bottom from before the pump, before the bull market, and you can see we are in the same area. We retested this initial W, we tested the lows, and now we have a weekly W. Ugly, but it's there. Not this one, but here. You can see market accepted back above this level. Well, nothing we can do now. We should just wait for sell half on a double. And then we can reload. We can think about a big weekly W. I don't think is the case for the moment. We are still in this environment, lower highs and lower lows. Yeah. Here, we can change to a range kind of idea. But until now, I don't see anything to make me so bullish that I will chase the market here. We have some. If the market is bullish, let it hit our sell half on a double, and then we can think about reloading. So again, nothing to do on this one. Let's take a look at the next one. Well, we have two more, so let's take a look at this one. Well, at least here we have some W's. We can see kind of a inverse head and shoulder pattern, W's going sideways. I like that. We bought almost the bottom. We bought the weekly W kind of idea here. And now you can see the market is trying to put higher highs and higher lows. That will start an uptrend. And we are at 60 cents. Our short level is at $1 and some. Be damn sure that you have your sell order in the market. This could be a candle and back down after that. So be damn sure you have the order in the market. all coins are on Binance. So you should be able to put your sell half on a double in the market. You don't have a limit. Your order will not expire, so you don't have a problem with that. Well, we can go sideways here. Same kind of thinking in that on the last ones. We can form a range and we can bounce around. That's the best environment. We finally reached that level. The best environment where we can buy low, sell half on a double, and reload. That's the best environment for altcoins. Don't think top of the bull market. Don't think bull market on altcoins. At least look at them. Yeah, you are at the bottom. Yeah, this is not the real bull market. This is the going sideways kind of idea. Yeah, Bitcoin is at 45. I know that. Yeah, but look at altcoins. Let's hope this environment will last even longer, and we can get a lot of free coins. At least that was the idea on this plan. Okay, and the last one. Let's see. I guess FAT. Yeah. So let's see FAT. Well, we don't have anything on this one. Why? I was a greedy goblin, and I just was a greedy goblin this time, and the market was too bullish for my taste, because you can see the initial W. Yeah, I put my limit order here. Market comes back at 78.6, touches 78.6, and bounce. Well, at this point in time, nothing I can do. I could still wait here, or I could wait for the next weekly W. At this point in time, nothing I can do. I'm not chasing here an old altcoin, let's call it that way, an old shitcoin. I'm not chasing down here. And you can see this is from 2019. You can see the high. You can see where we are. I'm not chasing, definitely not chasing this one. I don't see any opportunities here. I have to wait for this level or lower. That's clear and simple. Yeah, could go without me. I don't have a problem. We have more altcoins on that list, but I'm not chasing. So on this one, I'll just keep it like you see it on the screen. I'll wait, and let's put the altcoin reload zone. Well, that at least looks nicer. That I'll have a chance to get a feel. We'll see. Well, that's the 5 coins. We still have, I guess, 20 of them. Maybe next time we'll do more than 5. Well, we have more than 20. So we can do more than 5. Maybe we'll do 10, and we'll keep it to 10. Maybe it'll be a better option for us. We'll see. But let's keep it today. Let's keep it with 5. We had some fills. We managed to make some. We didn't make money. We made some free coins. We were not allowed to think making money in this part of the market, this part of the plan. Here we are making free coins. It's that simple. We're not making money. I don't care about the dollar value of this investment now. When P cycle top will hit, then I could count my money. Now, for the moment, we are here in this part of the plan. We are here to get free coins, and that's it. For new people, we'll sell only one shot and reload, and that's it. What is free coins, we'll keep them for the top of the bull market, hopefully. Yeah. If you want to get this plan, if you want to get this spreadsheet with all the levels we have here, you can see it's a complete one. It's not easy. You can see everything is here. You can join our Discord community on the free part. Just join our community on Discord. Type in general chat, verify me, so I'll give you the role so that will give you access on the free part, and you'll see weekly crypto review channel, and you'll have there this plan. You'll have the levels. You'll have a tutorial. You have everything completely for free. If it's for free, that doesn't mean it's without value. What we offer for free on this community, some people will charge you a lot of money. we decided that on this community, the investment part will be for free. So this plan will be for everyone. If you want to to become a swing trader, well, that it's a different thing. You should join premium. It's a small fee month by month. You should do Cap 101 with Kevin and me. If you want to learn our way, how we frame the market, like for a swing trade, that will cover the investment part also. Yeah, we'll cover the weekly chart, we'll cover the daily chart, but also you'll learn how to swing trade, how to make a plan, how to respect the plan, what it's a setup, what kind of setups we are using on this community. So you'll learn a lot of stuff. We have that program with $990 until the end of the year. If you'll book a place and you'll pay until the end of the year, it's a 4 months program. 3 months of learning, yeah, indicators, how to make a plan, everything about the market. And the last month you will trade with us. So you'll put the trade in the journal. Kevin and I will check the trade. If it's with if you took it with your plan, if you respect the setup, and so on. So I think it's a great deal for anyone who wants to learn to be a swing trader. It's not easy to be a swing trader. A lot of people want to trade. Well, okay, but you already are an investor. You know what you are doing in the market. Well, not quite. Then you don't have any business to swing trade. Some people want to be a day trader, to day traders. Well, to work with leverage, without a clear plan and some experience is just losing money. Just it's better to burn the money. You don't stand a chance in lower time frames. And as people, including me, as people who managed to get to a day trader scalper level, how much money they lost in until they learn. And I did TRI level 1 and level 2 at some point. It's not easy. So if you want the free part, well, it's there for free. Just join the community, ask to be verified. You'll have access on this document. You'll have access on everything on higher time frame, weekly time frame. If you want more, then you should join premium. If you want even more, well, we have VIP, but there it's a catch. You should have a certain portfolio and you should be able to keep up with us. It's not easy. No, not everyone will manage to get in VIP and keep the pace with us. Yeah? Scalping on 5-minute chart is not for everyone. Well, now let's see what we should do next. I think Kevin already prepared the giveaway. Let's see in the comments if we have DMAC. Well, Miku already said that DMAC will win. Well, let's see if it will be the case. I don't know, Kevin. You are still here?
Yeah, I'm here. Just getting my act together here for that giveaway. Let's see. Where did I put it? Yeah, so I
you
got
want to buy my ugly drum? Until you prepare everything, let's give a shout out to Brian Beamish. You asked me where we'll be next time. Well, I have a sound here, especially for that, where we'll be in the top of the bull market. So listen to that.
To hell with the Lambos. We're upgrading to islands.
Yeah. So everyone heard that? Hopefully we'll get to that level. So me, Kevin, and other guys, we learn to trade from TRI, from Brian Beamish. So we have a sound from him. Well, you said last time that my drum is not okay, so I'll just keep quiet and let's see who will win this time.
All right. Well, it looks like we've got 18 people here. So I'm gonna hit the button. We'll see how it turns out. So here we go. And here we go. David. It's like David. I think I saw him in here. I don't know how to pronounce his new YouTube name here, but David, you're looks like you just won.
Well, If he want, he could choose from 1 month premium membership or 1-to-1 with one of us. He's already a premium member.
Yeah. And of course, that's your reward for that FIS name I was talking about was actually a David idea. So thank you for that.
Yeah. So David is a really consistent member. On general part, on premium part also, is day in, day out here. So congrats, David. DM me if you want to add to your premium membership subscription, or if you want 1-to-1. It's up to you.
Cool. Yeah. And
Well,
of course,
that message.
Oh, sorry.
David put in a message, and YouTube asked me if I'm okay with that message. And you can see it on the chat. Well, for that, David, you have to go on other places, not here. I accepted your message, but
I guess I don't see it. Well, of course, every week we do this giveaway, and if you want to be, it's essentially just like Paul said, either a month of premium membership, or you could do a one-on-one with one of us. And if you want to be added to the giveaway, you just simply got to go to our Twitter page and retweet. Today's show will be the pinned tweet for next week, and you can just repost that on Twitter, and you'll get added to the next week's giveaway. And we do that every Sunday, like just like we do this show every Sunday. We got episode 49 a day. I suppose the episode 52 will be right in the middle of the end of the year and the holidays and stuff, but we'll be wrapping up the year here in a few weeks with this show. And of course, we're going to keep doing this show all the way into the bull market. So that's at least what we've said. And so far we've made every week, and we don't know when that bull market's going to come. So hopefully you guys can pump crypto and save us so we don't have to do this for the rest of our lives waiting for the next bull market. But we will be doing it for the time being every Sunday at the same time, same place. And I guess we got a bunch of requests we could look at now. I don't know if you want to do them, Paul, or if you want me to handle them. It's up to you, but
it's up to you.
I suppose I got my chart up here. I could do some, and you can pipe in if you want to.
Yeah.
If there's, the reality is like I even think let me go.
I have a request for you if you want.
Okay, first. We can start with yours.
Okay, look at RIP USDT on KuCoin on weekly chart.
What was it again?
I'll type in the chat. RAP, something like that.
Oh, which chat? I got like so many tabs open right now. Reap. Okay.
Yeah.
Reaper, I guess on KuCoin is the only place. There's like Gate.io and MEXC and a bunch
of. First of all, before Kevin will reach to that chart, it's a shitcoin, and we don't know if he's still alive. But you want low risk and high reward? Well, you have to look at charts like this.
Yeah, clearly.
So I saw something.
Just before I zoom in, because I got to zoom in so far to actually see the current price action, I'll just say that there's obviously tons of upside here. So we don't know if it's dead or not yet, but damn, if it gets going and can get its act together, then there's plenty of room for it to move higher, clearly. Even let me zoom way in and actually see what's going on here. I do see a little bottom, little weekly W in there, and I also see I always like to see OBV divergences. I definitely see the OBV divergence on, they pumped it here earlier in the year. I guess that was back in June. Pumped it pretty good here with the kind of ugly W, and then they took it to new lows again after that. So I don't know what happened here that just made everybody run for the exits. But now it looks like they put in another weekly W here. So I don't know. Looks good to me. It's just sitting there. If you like Paul just said, it's total shitcoin. But if you're going to take a shot on something, I would say this is probably, well, at least from like a structural chart standpoint, it's not the worst idea. Just kind of drew that W breakout level at whatever that is, 00339 or so. And price is sitting below there. So, of course, the double's just like barely a blip higher. You could just get a double up in this area. So, I don't know. Looks pretty good in general. Definitely has a weekly W. Maybe this week they could close it above that level. That'd be nice if they could just get a little pump going here into the end of the week. It'd be nice to see a little bit stronger of a close here, but otherwise it just looks like it's I don't know, reasonable chance of a bottom in here. So I like that one. Of course, I don't think I could trade that one so easily. Me personally, I didn't see it on my freaking exchanges that I'm using here in the States.
Well, that chart was posted by Julian on the technical, on the trades, on premium part.
All right.
And I saw there the weekly W. I saw the bullish divergence. I know you have a setup for that. And I also saw a power of three kind of thinking.
Yeah.
So that if you accept back in the above that level, well, that could push a lot higher, and you have a lot of potential there. If we get act together, we can push. You can see the potential more than 50x on that one.
Yeah.
Maybe even higher.
Yeah, if it can get it back together, it's got a lot of room to move higher. And like a relatively tight risk window here, right? Like the lows are about 30%
exactly.
below the
If
breakout
you frame
level.
it like a trade, even more risk to reward. If you frame a trade there with the stop loss below, and you can think of, I don't know, a 38.2 from the entire chart, well, well, just do it and you'll see the reward there.
Yeah, so looks pretty good. Maybe we'll move on to Troy. And then
that's David idea. They had an announcement last week or this week. They said they will accept or they will support BRC20. So that was the news, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, on first glance here, I mean, of course, it's come all the way back down against the old cycle lows, which is always a nice thing to see. So it's already made its way, completed its way through this whole cycle, made it all the way back down. And OBV looks damn nice here, going into divergence and just pointing higher through the whole accumulation year. Basically, like it's just OBV's been pushing higher, making W's, making divergences. I see a divergence from that low, and a bigger divergence from that low to this new low here. And then currently it's just kind of trying to W here. And there is a weekly W here, but that's a pretty ugly candle for this week. So we'll see how it closes. Not the best close here headed into the end of the week. Be nice to see that up here somewhere just to kind of solidify that W. But nonetheless, I mean, this falls into that category of what I was saying earlier. It's like if if the broader market rolls over, then something like this will probably get knocked back down to a new low, and you'll kind of have to wait for a new W to come in. So, because this has been sort of lagging the rally. I mean, they tried to rally it this week, and then it's just kind of took it right back. So, and this is not what we'd call like a strong candle headed into the end of the close here. We'll see what happens, but there's still several hours left here. I guess there's a good, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours left in the candle. So, I mean, a couple other things. Clearly, location's pretty good. You could draw fibs off of the lows if you want and see that it's probably down, 78.6 is basically where price is sitting right now. So, like, location-wise, it's definitely not chasing right here. It's just a question of whether this candle, I mean, it could be red by the end of the day here, and we could be turning into like a shooting star type thing. So is what it is. I think it's worthy of a shot, but also just like I'd said earlier, knowing that this W might not hold here, so you're just taking your shot, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. What can you do? I think in general the bottom's coming in though. I mean, it's nice. It's well into its sort of like rounded bottom here, so seems worth it. Then you also asked about Decred, which is funny. I haven't heard much about Decred lately. Of course, this is I guess this qualifies as a dyno coin for sure. It's been around since at least, I think probably 2016 or so. was a big performer in the 2017 bull run, and then also again, you can see how even last time, this is the Binance chart, so it's not really showing all their history here, but you can obviously see Decred ran up pretty good last time. And sure enough, it's made its all the way back down, making a nice rounded bottom here. And kind of like that last chart, has a similar weekly W that's kind of running out of steam a little bit right now, heading into the end of the week. It's also a little bit more of a steeper W. And honestly, when I see stuff like this, it kind of looks like a Head and Shoulders. So like the neckline is being made right now, and there's actually a Head and Shoulders coming in. So it'd be like a Head and Shoulders kind of looks like this. And so there might be looking for W's around here is kind of a nice way to frame this bottom, I'd say. If you're buying it right here, it's like you're not really chasing too bad, but at the same time, you're kind of buying into a V bottom here. This Head and Shoulders isn't established yet, so there's really just a V bottom working. Not really a weekly W. I mean, it is. This is like when do weekly W's become ABCDs? That's something I've asked myself a lot. Like, is this a W like this, or is it actually an ABCD that would suggest something like this that's already completed, and now we have to come back down? And this is, I think, the only reason I ask I don't particularly like to see steep W's like this. So if I can ask myself that and say, well, this looks more like an ABCD to me, then that actually means that up here was like a potential sell zone if you're a harmonic ABCD trader. So like really we should probably be looking for a real W somewhere over here to get too excited. And maybe this Head and Shoulders, like I had drawn earlier, produces that W in the right shoulder. So I don't think this one's bottomed yet. Is kind of what I don't think we have a structural bottom to really work with yet. But look at OBV and divergence here. A nice big W. RSI went into divergence. It's also confirmed and pushing higher. So clearly, like it's well into the bottoming process. I think just waiting for W is probably smarter, or not smarter, but just more conservative. If you want a little bit more information to work with, then waiting for that W is a good idea. If you love Decred and because you're like not so fast, I remember, I don't know if you guys follow Not So Fast, old school crypto guy, but he really liked Decred a lot. I wonder what he thinks about it now. But I remember back in the day, that guy, he loved him some Decred. So if you're him and you love Decred, then I wouldn't fault anybody from just taking nibbles right here. Clearly, there's like plenty of upside, and clearly we're well into a nice bottoming sort of period. So location only trades, location and OBV divergence, you have the green light, and weekly W, I don't think you really have that green light just yet. But David, this was a David name, and I think you in general know what you're looking for. Seems like the charts you come up with all fall into the realm of not chasing and being reasonable shots. So what else is in this list for requests here? We got, those are the, request ape, good old ape coin. We could look here on Binance maybe. I have a bunch of random drawings. This sort of reminds me of, it's kind of like that Decred chart in the sense that also V bottom here. So I know that this plan for this show, I think we got a nice fill right there at $1. Just, simply saying, well, $1, big fat round number right against the opening of Binance. It seemed like if you're the kind of, if you're that kind of gambler and you like to find areas where price has just gotten so obliterated and it's come all the way down against like super important levels, and you're just going to hit that level and basically go against the grain. This is like the ultimate contrarian trade right here, right? Like the FU, sort of the idea of the FU, like everybody's shitting their pants here, panic selling, as it heads into a key low. Is like that a place where you want to be a seller in general? If you're the general public, unfortunately, that's what most people do, right? They sell that level because they just can't take the pain anymore. They've been aped to death. They can't handle it. So they're the ones selling into this. Whereas like if you're willing to zoom out and be a little more patient and take like a more contrarian approach, you're going like, well, hell, that's looking pretty cheap there at $1 against the Binance Open. I'm just going to buy that. And sure enough, if you bought that level, then you're banging out doubles as we speak. Actually, not quite. So, well, double level's not too much higher. So you can easily see how they're probably going to take it up to $2 here, at least, just to kind of reward the people that were ballsy enough to step in there into the low. So as far as right now, I think it's too late to chase this here, and there's no bottom yet. So the likelihood of, I mean, you can kind of see the downtrend is still very much in, you know, if you even just use this M top here and draw a trend line off there, we're so far away from the trend line at this point. It's like, do they rip it up into trend line resistance and then come back down somewhere, you know? But either way, this trend line is showing that the downtrend is still kind of at work. You don't see that kind of big rounded bottom like Decred had. All you really see is a V bottom here. And you see a W and RSI that's actually a divergence, and then OBV just V bottom. So it's pushing higher, but no real bottom. So I think, you know, the chances of this thing still having to go through like some ranginess, you know, and then some sort of W over here, or, you know, maybe it takes all the way on the other side of the trend line. I don't know, but wait for me personally. If you're not already long, kind of got to just let this thing calm down and actually put in a real bottom before having all that extra confirmation that I like to see in if I'm trying to time like a weekly cyclical bottom. I don't actually, this is a good example of, I think I've said a lot, like I usually ignore the first, this V bottom is like a warning shot for me. It's like when I see the V bottom come in, it's like the first capitulation bottom in the bear, and I'll just patiently wait till this range gets established. So wherever this thing comes, you know, if it comes all the way up here and eventually establishes a range, then I like to buy the bottom of that range. So no different here. I'll let this play out, top out, come back down, and then I'll probably start seeing OBV divergences like in this period right here. That I'll be looking at OBV to see if it can go into like divergence and actually start Wing out, and then I'm going to be looking to buy a W somewhere in here. So pretty good example of that, actually. It's just so early in the process. I'm not too interested in trading this, at least on a weekly chart. Like if you want to zoom in and try to take advantage of this uptrend here on lower time frames, then yeah, go for it. But it's not particularly my style to try to time this bottom here. This one's particularly unique in the fact that we had such a key level that we could really work with right on a big fat round number. But typically, I'd rather just let this first bounce, dead cat bounce, play out, and establish the range that will likely become the bottoming range, or the bottom. It will be that rangy action that happens that we've basically enjoyed all year. And most things, like Ape looks a little different, but like something, not to go back to Siacoin, but I think it's a good example. You could say that Ape is kind of over here right now. It hasn't gone through this whole period now where we've sort of bumped along, produced a couple opportunities to get doubles as it's just made this nice big fat bottom. You could maybe even say Ape was more like right here, because Siacoin had come all the way down, capitulated all the way into the old lows. But point being, that's a good reference of how much Ape has to do, how much work Ape has to do to truly be like a weekly looking bottom like Siacoin is now. So it is what it is. And to be fair, chasing Ape right here is not that great of an idea in general anyway. You're paying up if you're buying it right here. So probably be a little hesitant to do that. Or I would, at least. Not even hesitant. I wouldn't buy that right there, but. And what else we got in here? We got Agix, AVAX. I know AVAX is taken off, and I'm sure Agix probably has too. So these probably aren't really buyable, which is going to probably be the case with a lot of these requests today. Yeah, you can. I mean, definitely, I'm not chasing something like this. And when I look back here, I don't see the beautiful looking weekly W I'd like to see. I do see a W of some sort. It's not really a line chart W. You can see how, because the candle bodies didn't really produce a real W. So we're actually like a V bottom when you think of it that way. But you could argue there is I don't know if that low is the low or not. That's a 15.7, and this low is 15.79. So this is lower. This was like 15.70. So they did basically just FU that that old low there. So not a real W. And just like I said about Ape, all I can really do is just start drawing fibs and just kind of hunting pullbacks, and maybe we see a W down here down the road. But to chase it right here is not my speed, and I also don't recommend it. Of course, if Bitcoin rolls over any amount, this thing will probably also come back down to earth a bit. And you can just see there's just like a V bottom with open air. So there's no reason why it can't come right back down. And to be fair, it might just keep going up for a while too. There's no reason why it can't keep going up. It's just not a great place to be a buyer right here. I think you can say the same about AVAX because I just got a double on it. So I know that it's not like bumping along the bottom. Although AVAX has a little bit more of a real bottom, I'd say, than AGIX, in the sense that it does have a real weekly W down here. And unfortunately, if you're not already long, probably got to wait for retests of that W down here somewhere, because obviously this thing's just straight up now. And actually there's plenty of room to move higher. So if you're already long and you're thinking about where the top is, I don't think you could say that it's topped out at all on this weekly chart. It's like having a monster week here, actually closing, heading into the highs for the close, which is a generally bullish sign, right? If they close this as a big fat green dildo here, then that suggests that there's still momentum to the upside heading into the week, new week. I mean, even if you look at like a daily chart, you're not going to see a top. You know, you're just going to see really overbought conditions. Like, yeah, our side's getting overbought, and not or well into overbought, I should say, and not even actually in a potential divergence, really. If it keeps pushing here and takes that high out, there's not even any kind of divergence working. And OBV, same thing, no M's or anything. So, I mean, no top on the daily and no top on the 4 hour. You can even see like the 4 hour, they couldn't even like M it out or anything. They're actually putting in a new W. So this thing's still cranking higher. And you can't buy it. What can I say? I mean, you can't buy that right there. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I don't think it's a wise thing to do. And even when I look at like this level right here, you can kind of see how these lows had some support, and now that's just a big M. It seems like they could rip it up into that pretty easily. So even if you're trying to short this market here, just be prepared to that you're definitely going against the, you know, with the wind in your face, I suppose, to like short this thing here. Even on that like 4 hour chart, like you're going to step in and short right here. You don't really have any good location. I mean, if anything, we're, you know, there's some range highs back here that are already well taken out. And then there's this like sort of key level that could be the new range high. So, I mean, shorting right here, that's not really good location to be thinking shorts. I think that's really dangerous. Probably have to, I'm sure shorts are probably getting destroyed right now anyway, squeezed out of their positions. And really, like, do you want to? I mean, it's one thing to be a day trader and take some shorts again. Like maybe you shorted Bitcoin at 88.6, like I was showing earlier. That's fair, but I don't know. Shorting altcoins right now, is that like if you're trying to think of your trading plan as having a bias, like, and you're trying to use a narrative to create a bias, like I think your bias would be better off longing altcoins than shorting them right here. I don't think this is a great place to get too bearish in terms of trying to make money. You're probably better off using something like our THG trend following indicator to just hunt longs. And like something like this, we could probably zoom in and see, probably a little late here maybe because it's been pretty damn uppy here, but I'm sure through all that move there was plenty of THGs firing where you could have captured any of this long action. I think that's a much higher probability trade than trying to step in and short right here. So just keep that in mind. And that goes for all of these things that are pumping. Like, do you really want to step in front of any of these? I don't really. Oh, try to trade with the wind at your back. Actually, that's like one of the hardest lessons to learn. Even with like my scalp, and I'll find myself flipping bias and just being like, why am I, you know, I mean, they say the trend is your friend, right? Like, it's always a good idea to try to trade with the wind at your back, not in your face. Now, like, doesn't mean you can't go and find shorts here. It's just you're probably going to have a harder time. And your win rate's probably going to be a little lower than if we were like in a different period where, you know, like up in this area was like a decent time to think about shorting AVAX. You know, we had put in a big M top and, you know, dead cat bounced our way up into probably like 61.8 kind of areas, reload zone type things. And so as we came up into that sort of area, we didn't quite get up to 61.8. But point still stands as we started topping out here and then went into a downtrend, and this thing's like trending down hard. That would have been the time to zoom in and maybe hunt THG shorts, right? Like very different scenario there than here, where the trend is definitely up. If anything, I see kind of an ABCD, not to keep talking about AVAX too much, but probably at least the only reasonable short location you could drive from this is probably drawn. If you were like a harmonic trader, you could maybe start looking for some sort of ABCD target, which funny enough is right here, but we'll see if this thing runs out of steam right here. I'm guessing it still has some momentum behind it. What else do we have in here? And that's Christian asking me. He probably knows all this stuff anyway. Sorry about, Miku's saying algo. I guess we, banged out a double on algo, which I missed by like a few ticks. So I'm not going to talk about algo. Hopefully they can pump algo here into the next week, because they like ran it up almost to my sell level and then brought it right back down, and it happens. What can you do? So yeah, I missed my double on algo as of right now, but I think in general, in something like that, I think the chances of me getting a double on algo sometime in the next year are pretty high. It's always nice to get it sooner than later, but if I just stay patient and stick to my guns and don't do anything stupid, then I'll probably be all right. What else is there? Oh, so Benjo's saying new here. Well, welcome. Glad you found us. Hopefully we're saying something that helps you out a bit. Kind of tough time to be shilling too many names to buy, to be fair. But what else we got in the... I guess that's kind of it here. I'm just kind of scrolling through the chat. Oh, God, you guys are talking away, though. Reap, we already talked about. Do you see Luna putting through resistance here at 1.2? Pushing through resistance. Let's see, Luna... I guess the real Luna, or I don't know what the real Luna is. The more expensive Luna, this one's $1.20 and the other one's like 0.0000 whatever. Let's see. Bogdan's asking, do I see Luna pushing through the resistance here at 1.20? And it's funny how I had these fibs. Wait, this is a pretty good example of how, yeah, you could have been taking shots here against the bottom of the range, and then, you know, doesn't always work out for you. And of course, now that fib range doesn't really mean anything anymore. But some resistance at 120, so I imagine you're looking at these sort of kilos here and thinking that's resistance, which makes sense to me. Pretty good example of also just kind of the M. You know, you can kind of see the M that came in. Has now created a potential resistance area as price ran up to it. If anything, kind of a little bit of a magnet. It looks like we just shot up into that area here, and much like most of the altcoin market, just relatively uppy looking. I mean, just to step back a little bit, there's definitely a nice weekly bottom that came in here. And it is against the old lows, so to speak. I mean, this is kind of a weird chart because of all this sort of Luna nonsense that geez, zooming way out and look at old Luna that just completely fell apart here, you know, at the beginning of all that. Well, the great algorithmic stablecoin blow up of 20 of the 20s. That's what it's going to be in 50 years. That's what people are going to call it. But nonetheless, I mean, zoomed out, like you could see how Luna fell apart and came all the way back down to the deepest lows. But point being, there did put in a nice W here, so I think we have support back against that. If there's ever buy opportunities down here again, I'm happy to go in and try to buy against that W if price comes back down. But I think the question is, do I think it will push through resistance? And all I would really say is, I don't know how much resistance that is. I mean, we kind of got through it and I think we just have to wait and see if any kind of M's here, especially like if we zoom in a little bit. I mean, like this daily chart here could become an M here as we get back up against the range, the highs against this little range. Maybe it rolls over and makes an M. That would suggest we probably got to come back down to potential buying areas. But when I looked at that weekly chart, unlike a lot of these altcoins, look how much room RSI has to move higher. So like, I don't know if there's still a lot of air. There's still a lot of room for RSI before it's overbought here. So maybe there's still a lot more room to move higher here. There's not really anything suggesting that it's topped out on the weekly. And then the daily chart, you do have RSI potential bearish divergence and OBV pointing higher still. So not really broken by any means. Maybe this becomes an M, but it's just, I think we're just at the fate of the rest of the market. If the rest of the market stays relatively uppy and there's no big changes here, then this will probably just keep pushing higher too. I don't think you could say there's a top there yet. And I noticed, of course, the other shitcoin Luna pumped pretty hard too, and they're even pumping like USTC and stuff. But I suppose this is Luna Classic, right? So yeah, this ripped harder, kind of looks like it did, and also not really topped yet. I mean, it pulled back here after kind of ripping. And we'll see what happens as it gets back up against the highs again, but no top here yet either. And remember, the trend is your friend. So like if you're just trying to stay into the bias, there's no real reason to go and think this is topped out yet. I mean, I don't know. You could argue there's kind of a little M, but it's very steep and not. I think it's likely they push it up against the highs again at least and just see what happens up here. What else? I don't know what you mean, DMAC. I can tell you good coin best performed this bull, no doubt. I don't know what that means. Somebody Cost wants to look at LBR. We can look at that. Oh, Christian was just saying that he got doubles on Ashix and AVAX. He wasn't asking me to look at it. That makes sense. I don't have Agix, but I did have that AVAX. And Bogdan's saying Ape. Well, we'll look at Ape LBR here in a minute. Linda Bradford Ratchke coin. If anybody knows who that is. And if you don't know who Linda Bradford Ratchke is, you look her up on Twitter. She's an old school trader that's, I don't know, been around for quite a while, and I like listening to what she has to say. So if you want to go down the rabbit hole and learn something from an old school trader, she's a pretty good person to look up. So like anyway, we got Ape NFT. Well, let's see here. Bogdan saying Ape NFT on KuCoin has a good rejection and a lot of upside. I'll look at that one here. DMAX talking about XTM, and we'll start with LBR, which is Koss's request here. Oh, look at all library credits. I forget about library credits. I guess, well, Bittrex is now closed, so I bet that's like the last nail in the coffin for library credits, because they've had a lot of problems over the years, I guess, and Bittrex always seemed to be the place that allowed them to exist. But I guess they're not on KuCoin. So anyway, I'm getting off track. But if anybody remembers library credits from last cycle, or even the cycle before, that was a fun one. But I think this one that we're going to look at here is Libra Finance. And yeah, so let's see, what can we say about this? One, I mean, it's a little bit chasey right here. Of course, the lows are way down at 72 cents, and it's sitting at $1.40. So it's already doubled off the lows. So not really the kind of thing I want to chase right here. Don't really see a nice bottom here. I see a V bottom, really. This was a new low. And it does look like OBV went into divergence there, which is a good sign. But you know, they basically just V bottomed and took it straight up. And also looks like they had like if you were to have drawn your fibs here, I suppose you could have probably gotten a reload zone fill. Yeah, like 61.8 up here. So yeah, dipped into the reload zone here for a second and bounced it again. The only issue with this right now is we're actually probably in like a short reload zone against the highs. So like as we push up into the range highs here, uh, what happens? Like, do we have enough momentum to take us to new highs? It's sort of not. There's nothing really to say that right at the moment. I mean, it's, you know, RSI is kind of pushing higher, and OBV actually put in a little bit of a M divergence there actually as we push to new highs. So it's sort of like running out of steam a little bit here. And if you draw like fibs off the highs like this, you'll kind of see how Mountain Man 61.8 got tagged and rejected. And so we're like kind of range bound here is what I'd say, you know. So any moves up to the top of the range are subject to selling pressure. So it's not really like something I want to jump in here and buy. If anything, I'd rather wait for price to come back down to like a 16 or $1.16 and below, and hopefully eventually down the road see some kind of W down here that I could buy. That's all I can really say. I mean, it's not my style to go and chase this right here. Like, I suppose if you were zoomed in and wanted to like use something like THG to try to catch some of this, whatever's left in this trend, that seems okay. I think there might be better names to do that with right now, but where it's sitting right here, I just can't really do much. And Ape NFT, and we got two more, I suppose, and then I suppose if anybody has anything else, we might have time for one or two more, but you got to be quick. And Ape NFT, I guess we could look at it on, well, KuCoin, I think is probably my, well, that's not the prettiest chart. Well, it actually looks pretty good. Kind of first saw this sort of candle, and I don't know if that shows up on all the other exchanges, but some sort of fat finger sell off here happened. And I mean, all I can say really right off the gate is I don't want to chase it right here. I mean, there's so many damn zeros in this price. I don't know how much it's up. It looks like it's doubled off the lows basically. Yeah, so it's like, you know, it's up 100% off the lows already. And let me go to a weekly chart. Actually, I was on the daily here. The good news is I do see a weekly W. So any pullbacks against the bottom of the range are by the dip kind of opportunities in my opinion. So I don't know, maybe even just kind of ignoring that tail and drawing fibs here, wherever this thing tops out, you know, just draw my fibs and I'll be hunting 61.8 and below against that W here. I like that idea. I don't like buying it right here. Unfortunately, it's just too far gone already. You're kind of chasing it here. You're asking for it. But I mean, it otherwise looks promising. I mean, OBV kind of have to zoom in a lot to probably see something just because, I don't know, it's kind of trading thinly, it looks like. But yeah, you could see W's and OBV. Not really divergence so much because this low kind of is the low. So no divergences over here. I suppose you actually could argue there is a divergence there. We made a new low. OBV put in a W. But just not too, I mean, it's a nice looking chart that's potentially bottomed. I mean, there's a nice weekly bottom here. It's just, you know, can we patiently wait for pullbacks against that bottom to think about buying? That's all I could really say. I'm not going to chase it right here. And if it affords the opportunity to buy, you know, somewhere below, looks like 35.82 is 61.8. Well, right now, assuming this is the top, could go higher here in the meantime, but that's sort of what I'm looking for in something like this. I don't think I'm really looking to trade this at all per se because it's not easily available to me. Now that I'm not on KuCoin, that is. Let's see. So XTM, well, DMAX is talking about XTM. I think you said maybe it was one that performed a lot. Yeah, I mean, this one was way higher down the road. I feel like this is an older one too. Like, I don't know if, I feel like XTM goes back a little bit. And unfortunately, that's kind of the state of the market right here, right? I mean, back here, it would have been nice to entertain the idea of buying against this old structural bottom that is sort of WEZ looking. There's some W's in there. And so you can see they gave everybody a chance to buy again. And that's kind of, I suppose it's hard to see it now. Like if you haven't watched these things in the past, it'd be the same kind of thing. Like when price, if we were doing this show on this week and this was a big green candle, kind of like where we're at right now, price was shooting up and somebody requested to look at this, I would have said the same thing. Well, I'm not going to chase it here, but there is like a weekly bottom that's kind of working here. I can draw my fibs and see if it'll afford me the opportunity to buy at or below 61.8. And you can see how the next week it was just like bam, back down. And you could have hit any of these levels down 88.6. I didn't, yeah, 88.6 is the bottom, did just get tagged. 78.6 would have been a reasonable place to just be hunting against this W. And that's kind of what we're waiting for now. We have to wait for another one of these. And so can the same thing just happen again next week with this? Probably. Like, who knows? We could easily just be back down here next week. Or more likely, it'll probably, it'll put in its top wherever it does and slowly just kind of grind back down. And that'll be the, hopefully you're watching this show then. That's all I can really say. Like watching it right now, I have to just basically say, I'm not going to chase this right here. Kind of interesting location. Just these candle body highs become like potential selling location, I'd say. So as price ran up into there, kind of getting rejected here. No guarantees it's going to take the highs out here. It certainly could, but there's no guarantees. So to put on a long right here, you're taking a lot of downside risk to like for questionable upside risk or questionable upside potential. So it's just kind of in a dangerous place. But if it can make its way down here, I'd love to see like a W down here to make me feel better about buying it. Otherwise, it's just sort of obviously like shit tons of upside and obviously well into its sort of bottoming process here. So pullbacks are definitely buying opportunities. You just got to wait for the pullback. D-Max saying, I did already bang a double. Oh, cool. So yeah, you got a double either here or back here, it sounds like. So nice. Cool. Well, I think that's all the requests. I guess I could just I already mentioned David's name, which I think is a very nice looking chart. This, I don't know what it is or what it does but this FIS is just, it's broken out a little bit. It's not really just sitting right at that W level, but we still are, very much in the bottom of the reload zone here. So this one seems pretty good. Maybe there's opportunities to get a better price than right here, but I don't actually think you're chasing too much, right here. Even maybe like just to keep yourself honest, you could hunt that breakout level, and it's a little bit lower than where price is here. But I like the way this is shaping up. This is exactly what I look for, and this is exact. I don't know. This is exact chart. This is my setup here, right? We put in that like sort of dead cat bounce range. We created the range, on this this move, which actually was on a W, so it wasn't like a V bottom. This is actually Adam and Eve, I think you'd call it. There's a V bottom here and a W pattern here, so we get this sort of Adam and Eve bottoming thing coming in here. But point being, I drew my reload zone off of that range. Now price came all the way back down to the bottom of the range. You start seeing OBV divergences come in on the moves to the low. You could see OBV start making higher lows here. Well, has been making higher lows the whole time, but really made a nice W there. And then sure enough, the W comes in after that. It's a very simple 3-reason setup that I know for a fact works. And so I think I have a pretty good chance of, buying this. If I buy this W, which I did in this case, I think there's a pretty good chance that that's a 35 cents and a double's just base, just a move up into here. I'm not even looking for new highs. I don't need to break that range to get a double. It's good as bad as any. I don't know. This is looks exactly like Siacoin. I'll just keep talking about Siacoin because I'm a Siacoin shill now, I guess. But it just keeps coming to mind because it's the exact same chart. The same exact thing happened here. We established a range. You could draw your fibs off the range. Price made its way back down into reload zones. A little choppier here for a minute, but you could see how OBV started going into divergence. Like on those, that move to the lows, OBV did the same thing here. It's a little hard to see. Actually, I'm lying. Did we actually? Yeah, it's just barely a well, it might not actually be a divergence. Either way, we got the W's coming in, now. And then, yeah, so Siacoin's not the exact same because we didn't get that divergence there. So that other one even looks a little better. All we got was a W here, which is still enough for me. But I was really looking for that divergence right there that other one has, which is just like additional confirmation. It still applies that you can see the W eventually came in down here around 78.6. Same chart, just this one didn't actually have as nice of an OBV as that FIS. But hopefully you can see the similarities. This could become that Siacoin pump here here in the next week or two. No problem.
Well,
And
if you look at the link I posted in the chat, you have the trade. We managed to get Siacoin.
Yeah, this is Paul's Siacoin trade.
And we posted that one. We discussed it in the daily plan video. So, well, it's up to everyone.
Yeah, and this one I remember specifically, we were in the New York session right here when this was breaking out, talking about it.
Was a nice LJ setup there. Well, hit my greedy goblin, took 50% off, and we are still trailing. If you want higher, why not? But you can see our greedy goblin is at sell half on a double kind of idea.
Yeah.
So to get a trade where you have a nice risk to reward and you sell half on a double, well, was a 6.5 risk to reward that greedy goblin level. And the entire risk to reward is 11 to 1. So I think it's profitable.
Yeah, not bad. You bang out a couple of these every once in a while, that's all you need to do.
Yeah, same kind of idea with Holy Grail. If you get a 10 risk to reward trade once or twice a month, you don't need more than that.
Nope. And maybe if you're new, you might not understand what's going on here, but we like to hunt these double bottoms, and you can see how there's a nice risk to reward here that's set up on that breakout. This is why we like to use W's as a way to frame trades, right? Because it gives you a nice clear place to work your stop. And these things have a tendency to do this. And you can even see, it's hard to see here, but that day right there, look how they just politely gave everybody a chance to buy it again after it had taken off. So you don't necessarily have to be sitting there. I mean, there's several days to buy this, to be fair, but you didn't necessarily have to be there looking at it the day it broke out. You could have let it break out and then just kind of patiently wait for that dip. That's what it's called, a Wyckoff check. It's not uncommon to see that retest. That's your sort of your pro traders' chance to get in after they've gotten some pretty decent confirmation that breakout's got some steam behind it. And you just see it all over the place. Like, we'll end with Bogdan has one more request, and maybe we'll see something similar on this Sun. And because you could even see it happening right here. I mean, it's a little different. They broke the W out, and then the next couple of days gave people a chance to buy a little cheaper, and now they're taking it up.
Yeah, again. But a lot of people, they are panicking there. They didn't think about hunting long ideas.
Right, yeah. And to be fair, this will probably take off and then come back and check it one more time too.
Kevin, tell me one thing. It's any way we can ban someone from the chat? Look at the last comment Stefan give us.
Not great, not
I was thinking to ban him, to not let him comment anymore.
Wait, what's he talking about?
about our trade.
Oh,
not great, not terrible.
Oh yeah, you're not. Yeah. He's not impressed. Stefan's not impressed. All right, fine.
Well, he has the right for his opinion. Okay, Stefan. This time, we'll not ban you from YouTube.
Yeah, I'm sure we can ban people, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
We'll call this the last one, Sun, which I think this is old Justin Sun, right? This is...
Yeah, he's Justin Sun coin.
Which, by the way, Tron, Tron's like the silent bull. Like Tron's never come back down to earth, it seems like, and it's funny how it just like nobody talks about it too much. But I'm gonna just pull it up really quick. Look at Tron.
Zoom out a little bit, Kevin. Let's mention something because I remember this chart.
Wait, on Tron
If
or
you
on Sun?
on Sun, not Tron.
Yeah.
On Sun.
I mean,
If
all
you
I was
zoom
saying
out,
about
you'll
Sun is, or Tron is just never really come back down to earth. Actually, it's just kind of,
yeah.
it's kind of like
But
matter.
I was speaking about a Sun. They have a problem there. A lot of people, they see the potential. Okay, look at the risk reward to all-time highs. No, they splitted the coin in a lot of pieces. That's why you have that one.
Oh,
So don't think that the price action is real. You see that dump? That was a split.
this right here, you mean?
Yeah, that big one, the big red candle,
Yeah.
the big one. So take
Oh, right.
the chart
It goes
after that
forever.
one.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. Jeez.
take the chart after that one. Yeah, it's not real price action. I
Right.
remember the motherfucker split the coin, and
Yeah, so we kind of
you
have to
get the
ignore
idea.
Yeah, we kind of ignore this, but the funny thing is that doesn't really matter. I mean, or right now, you don't have to really look at that to see that even if we just kind of take sort of this kind of price action here and this very
Yeah,
nice looking bottom. I mean, that's a very nice sideways channel, pretty long accumulation range that's already happened. And there's a W working right here that's still holding the lows. So that, this W is still active. You can see how they broke it out. And again, just like I was saying, see, we did find another one. Very same thing. Like a W came in back here. Could have drawn your fibs here, let price come all the way back down to reload zones and start hunting again. And then they ultimately did put in a kind of ugly looking W's and then even wider, bigger W's. And now there's just a nice solid bottom here. So it looks like there's kind of like a top of the range sort of thing here that could become resistance, but I don't know, it looks pretty good to me. It's just a question of me not particularly wanting to chase it up here. I think probably just drawing, I mean, I would even take this range, the actual low here, and maybe even still just stick with this and try to stick with 61.8 and below, which is 647, however many sats that is, 647. Or not sats, sorry, I'm looking at USDT. Less than a penny, but whatever. God, six.
have a clear range there, so buying at the bottom of the range, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And is that scenario where we can buy at the bottom, sell at the top, hopefully sell half on a double and reload. If Justin Sun will, I don't know, wants to pump this one to keep this one alive, well, we'll get some money. And keep in mind, the entire bear market, everyone was, I don't know, Sam, CZ, but nobody said anything about Justin Sun. Like he's immune on everything. Yeah.
He gets away with everything.
Yeah. So if he wants to pump this one to make some money, we can make some money with him. Let's call it that way.
Yeah, I think it's just probably same story. I don't know. Chasing it right here isn't the greatest idea, but if you can wait for it to just come back down to the bottom of the ranges, then sure, why not? I don't really love chasing.
We'll probably take the highs there. You have equal highs there at the not the last week, the last two of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it actually to get your double, if you are long from down here somewhere, the double level is kind of taking out those highs. So
yeah. Too late to market buy, let's call it that way. Wait for a mountain man, at least a mountain man.
Yeah, so I mean it looks good. Unfortunately, it's really hard to buy these things like this right here. Just kind of got to be patient. I mean, I have like a couple that I've been bidding on, like this CHR is one that doesn't really want to I haven't bought this yet. Nice W, and I have some bids down here and it just doesn't want to pull back. You can even see the last time I drew my fibs was a couple weeks ago, and we've now made it higher. That's a perfect example of how I want to buy it, but I'm not going to chase it here. I'm just going to work my levels, and At this point, I could even readjust my bid to 78.6 if I wanted to here, but I'm just going to wait. But that's one that this is CHR. It's one that I want to buy. We'll just see what happens down the road here. I already missed it. If it wants to shoot straight up from here, then I'll just not be along for that ride. And CVX is kind of similar. This one I have a better chance of getting a fill on, it looks like, because it sort of looks like same thing. It ripped up, put it in kind of an ugly candle here into the end of the week, and I've got bids down here against the W. We'll see if it can, any dips against the, any pullback here, and I will likely get some fills. So this is a pretty good example of one I'm just looking for that retest. Like I would have liked to have maybe bought it here. I wasn't, I didn't have my bid working in that red candle, but you can kind of see how they broke it out, dipped it down against the breakout level, and then bounced it. That could happen more times down the road here. This is just one kind of tighter weekly W, so I don't think it's really necessarily bottomed here. It could take off from here, but there's also the likelihood we play around for a while. I mean, it could even spend the next, 4 or 5 months just banging around down here before it truly gets going. So I think I have a reasonable chance of getting filled still here, but I'm just going to patiently wait. I'm not going to chase it right here. And you can see if I would have chased it all the way up here, I'd be underwater already. So try to avoid that if I can. Which is why we always try to hunt decent location. If you're going to learn anything about this stuff, even with weekly investing, most of our plan that we're working for this show, for example, is mostly focused on location, right? We're just trying to identify places that are likely to become bottoms in the future, just based on the fact that they're not, we're not chasing up markets. We're using fibs to like identify 61.8 and below, and we're just hunting that and knowing that, if we can stick to that plan and not chase markets, we have a better shot at coming out down the road. If, because it just obviously takes a little less of a pump. If you can buy from a nice location, then it doesn't have to rip as far for you to get your sell off. So never a bad idea to try to hunt good location, and certainly never a bad idea to just avoid chasing markets altogether. So hopefully you can do that. And if not, you're welcome to, pop into the Discord and ask us some questions about what that even means by trade location. If you don't understand what I mean by trade location, certainly happy to help you more. And I mean, if you want to take it even one step further, you can, we are firing up our trading program again in January. So our Capio One trading school, if you want to actually sort of learn the basics all the way up into like swing trading in that program, feel free to pop in our Discord and get more information about that. Like I said, it'll start up in January. That's a 4-month program, but it's kind of also a year-long program in a sense that 4 months of 3 months of strict curriculum, and then a month of actually just sort of handheld trading with Paul and I, where we're actually sort of more looking at all your trades every day and going through your log and reviewing what you've been up to. And then after that 4 months, there's another 8 months of just basically hanging out with us and trading things like that Sia coin, trade that popped up in the New York session. Anybody that was paying attention that day, would have seen that. And so there's a whole 8 months of doing that after you've sort of learned the basics and just kind of refining your craft. And then of course, if you want to move on to the second Capua 2 sort of day trading program, that'd be more if you want to actually jump in and start scalping with Stefan. So feel free to reach out to me if you have more questions about any of that. You can always find me on Discord, and you can also find our Discord just at cryptotradersarena.com on our website. It's the quickest way to just find the link to join up in our free room. And of course, you can always find this show here. You can find Paul's daily plan videos every day, Monday through Friday, around the London session. He's usually making these daily plan videos, which just kind of highlights the present levels and real-time trade ideas, essentially. Whereas we stick to kind of more of a zoomed out weekly kind of investing standpoint with this show. The daily plan's more like setting day trader levels for the day. Anyhow, I think that's about all I have to say to you. Is there anything you want to add, Paul, before we call it here?
No, I'm not the best guy to say goodbye. Ask me levels, ask me setups, ask me plans. things like that. But saying goodbye is not my best, not my strong point.
All right.
Well, everyone should be able to swing trade. Yeah. If you put the time and effort, sooner or later, Kevin and I would think 1 year it's enough to learn that. That's why we have that program, 4 months learning and the rest of the time trading on premium part with us. Because that program includes 1 year premium membership. If you want to learn how to swing trade, okay, you can join that program. It's really cheap at this point. Will probably be a lot more expensive in the future because it's a 4-month program. It's a lot of work to keep that going. That was my rant at the end.
Yeah.
Don't get bullish at 48K. If you want an advice, don't get bullish at 48K like everyone else. That's my goodbye.
Yeah, of course, the general public, time and time again, gets bullish into resistance and bearish into support. So it's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. That's a funny old expression.
We need them. We need them. The market needs them to work, to function. So even if you like it or not, that's the way the market works.
Yep, it's true. And of course, everything we're trying to do is contrarian to that. Of course, like we're trying to take I suppose you could say we're trying to look at the markets the same way the smart money looks at it, or whatever you want to call them, Wall Street, whales, institutions. We're trying to put ourselves in the same kind of category as them as far as how we view the market, which is unfortunately just the exact opposite of the general public. So, I mean, lesson one for doing this stuff is you kind of have to erase your general public brain that we're all, as humans, we just all sort of have. We all think about this stuff the same way until you kind of reprogram your brain to look at it in the opposite way, funny enough. And that doesn't just sometimes you have to, I think most people have to actually see that. I don't think people naturally think that way. You kind of have to kind of see it happen, and then you come to believe it afterwards. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. Just I guess last reminder is I do a show on Tuesdays at 20 UTC, another crypto show, and I take a lot of requests and I look at a lot of names there too, and I'll be doing that this week too, although there's going to be a slight change in my schedule this week because I had a little bit of a conflict, and I am going to we do have a special guest that we're going to try to make a show with, and so I'll let you guys know more about that, but most likely I'll probably I'll still do the Tuesday show, and then there'll be like an additional show with the interview with this guest here. So we'll see how that goes. There might be a slight hiccup in the way that it works this week, and I might have a pre-recorded Tuesday show for this week, and then I'll go back to doing lives the week after. But look for our special guest, and that's something that we plan on doing more in the future. We're going to probably bring in some various guests to just talk about the projects they're working on in the coins and development they're doing, all that stuff. So keep an eye out for that. And other than that, you can always find all this stuff in our Discord if you are just curious about times or when things are happening. And I'll just leave it at that. So I'll say a good have a nice happy rest of your weekend wherever you are in the world, and we'll be back in the New York session tomorrow. If you're in our premium room and ready to get back to trading for the week, we'll see you then. I'll be back in that session, and I don't know what these overnighters for me will be doing in the London session, but they'll be trading away probably for their London session as I sleep. So anyhow, talk to y'all later. Thanks again, and we will see you around. Take care.